see all you people. This is our alumni panel. So as you've heard again and again today, I talked about your peers. Look around. You are the leaders of tomorrow. You're going to meet people, professionals at the events that we have. That's professionals that also belong to a club now, and that are alumni. And honestly, I'm choked up just looking about. You're just not out, and you're so special and fabulous, all of you. So they have great stories to tell about their continued rise. These were the people who were movers and shakers. They did what I told you to do before the timeline. They lived the timeline. Prince, who's our vice president of the public relations lead, is living that. Yes. He's doing that now. He has jumped right in from the very beginning. And the reason why I feel close to all of you is because you might not have been in my class, but I know you so well. I'm such a fan because of all the activities. I saw them. They were just like faculty sort of meeting. So they're colleagues of mine. And this is a really treat. Thank you so much for making time and to continue to come back. And please come back again. We'll have this speech or whatever. But continue to come back and tell your story. I'm gonna leave this in your capable hands.
Sure. Isn't it always nice to have Dr. Rennie us? It's fabulous.
You are fabulous. I'm your #1 fan.
How's everybody doing? All good? It's been a long day. No? Okay, cool. Let's dive right in. So today let me introduce myself. I am Kriti Mahtab. I'm the vice president, as Dr. Rennie said. I'm the vice president of Public Relations League. So if you guys haven't joined public relations yet, please do, because we have a lot of events lined up for you this semester and next semester. So the purpose of this panel discussion is to discuss or to talk about how to bridge the gap between being a student in NYU and building your career when you get out of NYU. So we have a fabulous set of panelists who are joining us today, who are alumni, both PR and corporate communications and integrated marketing. And I'll do a really quick mention of their names because we want to allocate the time for this panel for the panel itself. So we're just gonna do a really quick introduction. We have Dalton Porter, who's from the PR and corporate communications program. We have Kriti Mahtab, who's from PR as well. We have Quynline Lam, Darlene Hoang, who is from the IM program, and Quynline Lam from IM, and So as I said, they've all been in our shoes. They know the strategies and tactics of how to leverage our student life here and how to get out of this graduate school with flying colors. Okay, so my first question, since a lot of the students here are still here in the university, let's talk about the practical strategies while you are a student here in the university. So looking back, Dalton and Darlene, what do you think students should be doing right now to set themselves for success in the future?
Yeah, I can go. I think just like one of the most important points, and you guys have probably heard it over and over again, is networking, but more specifically networking within the staff and faculty. I've just found so much use within it, and oftentimes we kind of put ourselves in a box and just think of our professors as professors, when in reality they're, a lot of them are NYU alumni as well, or they're just a part of the circle. And they really want to help us, and they're very established in their careers. So really just, setting it aside and just becoming closer, like friends, and just establishing a better relationship with the people that, you're learning from, will get you a long way. And if they're not able to help you within your career or anything within that sense, they probably know someone, that's within the realm that you're looking for.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And it's doing things like this, like coming to events, just networking, saying hi to people, kind of breaking out of that like pretense that there's some awkward wall. The doors that you unlock from doing that has been so exceptional. I feel like NYU was the launch pad for me. I actually got my first corporate internship through a professor at NYU that I met. And something that you learn as you move forward is that those kinds of things are very rare, but the opportunity is there. So when the opportunity arises, just jump on it. You have to be ready to jump on it, but always be. I love that you said too, sometimes people think of it as like, oh, you're in a class, so that's your professor, and that's the title that you give them. These are like big industry names. Like you, we all studied under them too. Like NYU just has an exceptional teacher and professor network, and you have to always be putting your best foot forward. The best crash course in the real job world is like through this program. So go to your classes, approach them almost as like meetings, or that might be too extreme, but approach them as very serious things that you put your best foot forward because you don't know who has connections to the industry that you want to break into. It would surprise me a lot.
Yeah. Definitely.
Sure.
Okay, so we touched base on networking. I know the previous panel was also talking about networking a lot. I think one thing that people would, I mean, at least for me, would really want to know is like, what do you have any specific strategies that has worked for you when you're networking?
That's a good question. I think just being able to like set an intention, you know, like whether you're talking to someone in person or virtually, if you want to have a coffee chat or something like that, really coming in and being like, hey, like this is me, XYZ, explain yourself, but then also setting like this is what I'm looking to do and just being clear about your intent for it so it doesn't feel like you're wasting each other's time. For the most part, when it comes to networking, I feel like they really value just being open and honest about, you know, like I'm looking for a job in this position, or I would like to be able to reach your next contact or your manager or something like that. Just so that like, you know, like you all know what you're supposed to get out of this 30-minute, 15-minute conversation.
Totally. And my advice would be to prepare as much as you can. Again, I don't know why I'm like speaking in such dramatic tonality, but you should be an expert in whatever person you're talking to knows and what their industry is. If that's your intention, if you're meeting somebody, it's a casual conversation. You should be yourself, you should be authentic. But my advice when you're going into an event like this, I know PRL hosted a lot of events at PR agencies. You're talking to the C-suite casually. So you should know about their clients. You should know what kinds of people they're working with. You should know what the industry news is of the day. That's your like foray into being like, oh, this is someone who's a standout. Like it goes beyond just someone friendly. That's my advice.
Have you guys, go ahead.
No, I was gonna bounce off that. Like, you know, like LinkedIn is a public network, right? And so since you do have access to that, it's not weird to like quote unquote like stalk someone, right? Like I think the best people when it comes to networking are people that like really know you or like took the time to like look through a profile, know what university you went to, know where you grew up, know like what type of like things you've published, work you've done. And to bring that into a conversation really shows that like again, you're prepared and you really want whatever you're looking for.
These are really nice answers. I'm actually curious, do you guys have any experiences, like successful experiences, and this goes for everybody, successful experiences where you applied these strategies that you think worked wonders and met someone who like that connection kind of yielded?
I have.
Yeah.
So I was actually in a hiring process of my current job, and that took about like 5 or 6 months. But in the last stretch of it, I kind of get in a little bit of trouble because of my work authorization. But so the idea is the HR was not able to approve my offer, and then is going to rescind my offer. But at that time, I was still not giving up, like still trying to network as much as I can. So one of the opportunity that I had when I was the president of integrated marketing was that I get to attend a lot of the marketing foundations or research foundations. So one of it, it's actually called Advertising Research Foundation, where they host a lot of industry leaders to give presentation about the work they do in their actual work. So I was just attending, and then guess what I found? I found someone that I thought I met before, but he was actually someone who is the head of my current job. So he's executive director of WPP Media at Data Analytics Services. And I was like, this is a perfect opportunity. I had to say hi because like I'm in the hiring process, right? So I pretend to approach him, and then I introduce myself, like, you may not know me, but I know you because, I'm in the hiring process of this team. And then I talk about, why I'm here, and he is actually pretty surprised. And he was like, oh, you know what? Like, actually, I've been asking every week to HR that where is Gay? Like, where is the progress of this person? Like, I need him right now. And at the moment that I heard that he said that, I know I don't have to worry about anything because you can't prepare any better first impression than this, and it's happening like serendipity, and you are in New York. So I just would encourage anyone to attend as much as those events as possible. I was actually reading news from Instagram the other day. People are willing to steal their sweet green orders to get someone to date. I'm not asking you to steal green orders, but you're in New York, and this is a perfect place to meet anyone that you want to work on from the industry you want to work in. So don't lose the opportunity from being in New York.
And speaking of serendipity, I know I'm a moderator, so I don't get to input, but I get to call the shots here. Actually, I have a story about serendipity because last year we went to this Big Apple Awards, right? One of the students that I was with was like, I want to get an internship in CAA, which is talent agency. Lo and behold, I was like seated right next to a person who was sitting by herself alone. And I was like, okay, let me chat this girl up. And she was like, I asked her, where do you work? She was like, I work for CAA. Like 5 minutes before someone told me that she wanted to work for CAA. So I think the moral lesson of the story really is be prepared and show up. Like take advantage of all of the opportunities that you can, because showing up really matters, right? Because this is where the magic happens. This is where the serendipity happens, right? Like we can't just go cold messaging people on LinkedIn all the time if you're not showing up, because But any other story before? Yeah, go ahead.
I'd love to add to that. I think one important piece of that is like being open to talking to people, like you turning around and seeing someone. And I know you're all probably really stressed about the job hunting process, but it can be really stressful to think of all of these interactions as like transactional and you're like pitching yourself. But if you're like not burnt out, you know that it's going to take a while and you're actually interested in getting to know these other people in your industry, you're interested in sharing who you are, that's when these moments happen where you turn around, you're interested in getting to know the person sitting next to you, and you meet someone super interesting. And that might not just be an opportunity for you, it might be an opportunity of passing on to someone in your network. And just like showing up authentically, like being kind, being cheerful, not just like rattling off skills and experiences and kind of like pitching yourself, but being present, having that authentic interaction so that they can get to know you and know if it's a good fit for themselves, for their team, for someone else that they know. So that requires like also looking after yourself, not getting burnt out, and kind of having an appetite for those kind of interactions and having the appetite and interest in seeking out these networking opportunities. And I know there are so many, like you said, like you're in New York, you're at NYU, there are 100 emails coming in and 100 events happening. And so it can be overwhelming, but if you don't have like the energy and the appetite for that, that's when you kind of miss these things that could have aligned. So, just kind of keeping an eye out for that as well.
Okay, thank you.
And can I just say
yeah, go ahead.
really quick, there is a saying, someone like jump in, that luck is preparation, where preparation meets opportunity, I think.
Yeah.
That is like so aligned with what they're saying. It's so true. Going to these events, I always go on I used to always go on Handshake and filter through the events. That seemed to be like a very good way of finding them. But I will tell you, just as a young pro, the peers I have who have the most successful careers were always the ones who were out doing this stuff. The face-to-face time, that's how you maintain a long relationship with someone. Because you're right, like people respond on LinkedIn, but it's not the same as me being like, oh, I know her. Let's go grab coffee. Let's stay in touch. Then that serendipity happens. Anything could connect you to a person that'll change.
Yeah, for me at least, networking really is cultivating relationships. It's not just like I'm gonna connect with you because I need something from you. Like they're not gonna give it to you right away. You need to establish a relationship, and it takes time. It takes a lot of coffee chats, a lot of emails, a lot. So I think that's number one goal when you're networking. Now, speaking of going to a lot of these events, my next question would be, how do we balance? Because as I said, we're still students. How do you think, for you, how did you balance student life with, all of these other things that you did to get to where you are?
Like I said, I think it's just like understanding that it is a bit of a marathon and that you don't want to get burnt out. Like, you have like a long semester ahead of you, you have deadlines, you're probably working on like a major project or something else that's due like in a few months from now. But at the back of your mind, you're also worried about like where's that job, where's the internship, where's the next networking opportunity, when am I going to get that job offer? And I think like balancing it means that you're not leaning too far in either direction. And you're just like totally aware of like how long these things take. I feel like, especially when I was kind of going through this in my last year, there was like a lot of pressure and you could feel it among all of your peers. You're like gearing up to graduate, gearing up, looking for jobs. Many of my peers are also like international students worrying about paperwork. So just like going into it a year in advance, 6 months in advance, knowing that it's going to be a long haul, a long process, and pacing yourself and taking care of yourself. I would also say leaning on your professors and your peers when you are kind of tired or you don't know what to do next, or you just like want someone else's perspective on how to approach that next application or the next homework assignment. It's understanding that you're all in the same boat, and like it's not like you mentioned, the professors are a great resource. Definitely talk to your professors, tell them what you're interested in, bounce ideas off them, but also your peers. It's like a very mixed group. Often there are like people sitting next to you who know people, people who apply to the same jobs you have, similar jobs. You're all kind of in the same boat. So like, don't feel like you're going through it alone. Talk to each other and lean on each other. That really helps.
Quynline, do you have any thoughts?
I might be like the worst person to ask this question to. I would at every event that I could sign up for. Like as soon as the handshake notification went off, I would be like, I'm gonna be there. So I definitely think that like just showing up is very important. And I guess like for me, I like to do those things. I like to be doing in-person things, and I didn't like to not. And I felt like I was only at NYU for 2 years. I was like, I need to do everything that I can to put myself out there and to really like talk to people, meet people, like whether that's in a professional setting or just with your friends, like just go out there. You're in New York, why not?
Right. Okay, so we've heard a lot about the job market in the news, through your professors, teachers, peers. there's a lot of buzz around how difficult it is to get a job nowadays. There are people, at least one of my professors are saying that the market is going to open up this fall. So get ready for it. My question would be on navigating job market. What challenges did you face when you were first looking for the roles that you got, and how did you navigate them? I can ask.
Well, it is saturated, as I'm sure, like now we're preaching to the choir, like you guys know how intensely saturated the job market is. Going back though to what Quynline said, I do feel like that is advice that can't be understated or can't be overstated. I'm reticent because I don't want to make it sound like there's like a time bomb where you have to do everything so quick. But one of my best friends, who I did meet through this program, still struggles with the job market and entering. And something I was always trying to tell this person was, I get it, the events may not be your thing, that's totally fine. You may not want to be doing all of these emails and cold calls, and then all the rejections are so discouraging. Everyone in this room knows that. I've gotten countless rejections before, but you have 2 years of access to events in New York City to these huge industry names. The least you can do is like hop on that or hop on it in your way. So whatever you're the most comfortable doing, that was what gave me movement into the job market, was the FaceTime. Just trying to be out there and acknowledge that every single person you meet, you're adding to your network. That was really transformative. And the only reason it's worth mentioning as a side note is because I know many peers who did not have that experience. So that's tough but very real advice, is that acknowledge that you have this allotted amount of time, use it.
I'm actually really curious, just by raising your hands, how many of you got the job through networking?
I didn't get a job through it, but networking gave me my reference into my job.
Okay, and then
Which I think
the rest got your job by applying.
Freestyle.
Okay, got it. So it's 40%, 60 chance. Okay. For
Yeah, I would say like it wasn't like I networked and like landed the job immediately. I was trying to kind of get into a sub-industry which I had no experience in. I work in healthcare PR, like for life science companies, and had no hard science background, had no background in the life sciences. So kind of hard to pitch yourself as someone to hire. Luckily, I had great mentors in the program, professors like Professor Metcalf in the back and Professor Durand, who were like really encouraging, but also just through networking and having these conversations with people in that space again and again, being like just practicing telling my story and explaining where that interest came from was really important. That's why I kind of mentioned right at the start, it's not just about your skills and your experiences, also being able to show why you're interested and then show who you are, like as a person. And then having those networking conversations again and again, just like honing my story, honing what my interest was in that field, and being able to like then talk to them about other people I had spoken to, like demonstrating that I understood the space more holistically. That only happened because I had networked again and again with people in that space. So I think it like helped me understand the space and helped me see what my space in that space could be when telling my story. So kind of indirect, but yeah.
I would say I got my first job at Con Edison with networking, but I was able to move really easily because I was networking in the company. So when I got my job, it was more of a salesy role. I was out on the field. I actually have a lot of collateral that I brought for everyone. I was giving that to people when I would go to these Tesla charging stations or wherever it was that they sent me to, and I kept telling my manager, and I was like, I really like marketing, like that's what I do. And as soon as a role opened up, he was like, come interview for it. And that was, I think, 2 months into my sales role. So it's been really quick, and I showed that I was passionate and that I wanted that job and I wanted to be in marketing, and so I think it's just like communicating effectively, and like this is what I want to do and knowing what you want to do.
Okay, I want to ask this question to our national student alumni. You're in national student alumni. Yeah, are you also in that? Okay, can you give us like strategies when you were navigating the job market? Because I know there are certain parameters that you have to consider when you're applying for jobs as an international student. What were the strategies that worked for you?
I think for me, I wanted to get as much experience in PR and comms as possible, just knowing that there were restrictions on how much I was allowed to work and where. So my strategy, like right off the bat, coming to NYU was to find an on-campus job, since that was something I was allowed to do. So I was lucky enough to get a job at the Office of Global Services as a visual storytelling intern, which is like creating videos for that department. So that felt connected to what I wanted to do. And that was something I was allowed to do. And then thinking about that summer internship that those of you who are international would know, like getting a CPT, work authorization over the summer to get that internship, because that was another thing, one of the few things you're like given a chance to do. So really like focusing on landing that. And then after, when you're looking for a full-time position, and yeah, I'm sure you'll echo this, like being straight up when you're in that starting that interview process. Like you don't want to waste your own time or the people who are interviewing you's time, and get 2 or 3 rounds deep in the interview process and then have your status come up or what visa you're on come up and then not get the opportunity because of that. Often if you're straight up right from the beginning, there will be people at a company who are perhaps really invested and happy to help you navigate it, like I know Ye just mentioned. So just like being totally upfront about it, and then the opportunities which aren't meant to be will fall away really fast, and the people who are willing to like fight with you through it and navigate that journey with you will kind of show themselves faster.
I just wanted to talk more about the physical, mental well-being. Well, you are an international student, because I feel like, especially nowadays with all of the crazy news popping up nowhere, and you have no expectation on what your next plan will be, is very troubling. So I actually had a friend who's on H-1B visa, and then because of the proclamation, he was canceled all of the entire wedding, because he thought he would not be able to make it back to enter the United States without paying $100,000. So I think my recommendation or strategy is to think through, what is the purpose of you wanting to stay here. So I actually was just back from a PTO trip from Japan, and when the moment that my flight took off, I just realized I work here to live. I don't work here to maintain a status, even though the law makes it, you have to be employed to be able to be here. But I don't want to spend more time thinking about the future that is still unknown. I want to make sure that, every day I can focus what I'm currently doing, and then try to take as much ownership as possible. In your case, doing the network things that you're supposed to do with getting a job, and then stop worrying about, what will the plan be for the next year. I don't think that's going to help you. So I think, to sum it up, having a positive energy will also bring you luck in a way. So that's my recommendation for you all now.
Positive energy, that's how you manifest things. So I believe that. Okay, so we're done with the job market. We're gonna go ahead to your career now. My question would be to Darlene. What was the hardest challenge you faced early in your career? How did you?
Good question. I think honestly, like the hardest thing for me, it happened to be like undergrad was after I graduated college. I just ended up in a career where I was in a really high position with no experience and they just trusted me. And so it was just learning a bunch of things that I didn't know. And you know, to be honest, like it's just something you have to take day by day. And it's like, okay, like I constantly have to learn like these new applications. I need to learn the processes of an organization that I've never been a part of. Like everything just felt new and fresh, and I just felt underprepared. But honestly, like being transparent, talking to my managers, you know, like telling them what I'm struggling with, what I do and don't know, and you know, like asking for help when needed, just made me feel more secure in my career and you know helped me within the coming months after.
Yeah. Dalton, did you experience or did you feel any kind of like imposter syndrome when you were? Probably not because you're so confident.
No, I feel incredibly insecure all the time, even more so now being in a more traditional corporate setting. But that actually is a good question to bring up because I worked a lot on this with Catherine Metcalf, who I do believe is in the room in the back. Hi. Hi. She is another incredible mentor to me who really helped form a lot of my approach to business as a whole. And no matter what industry you're in, there is unfortunately a business component, capitalism. But I struggled actually so much with confidence before I got the job that I have currently. I work at a PR firm downtown. And Catherine and I would sit down together and she would be like, okay, stop. Enough with the doubting. Like I'm reading everything that is on paper and it's all this exceptional work. And then to me, you're like, well, I don't really know what I want to do. I don't know how strong I am at this. I still need to learn this skill set. And she was like, the second you get in the room with somebody, if you come with that self-doubt, they're going to believe that that translates into your work. So you have to, it's not feigning excellence. It's more like you need to be in the mindset of a professional. And a true professional is not somebody who's going to doubt the quality of their own work. Because you did it. You already did the work. You already accomplished what you wanted to set out and accomplish. So it was actually difficult for me to, in your day-to-day life or with friends or meeting people like this, you may be confident, but I actually struggled a lot with confidence early on in terms of being like, I'm an expert at this subject matter. I have worked in this field, in this industry. So I am confident in the work that I'm presenting to you and who's in front of you. But maybe not imposter syndrome, but I think I struggled a lot with being a confident professional early on. And many thanks to, yes, my peers. I had incredible friends throughout my early PR career and mentors like Catherine Metcalf, who will work with you and give you that boost because they worked in this industry a lot longer than any of us have. So it's very heartening to hear that from somebody that you respect.
That's a really good point. Actually, I am a Dean Scholar, so I get to mentor a lot of the students here in SPS, and I would say confidence and imposter syndrome are the top two issues that they talk to me about. And I think being in SPS is a really good training ground to hone your confidence and that feeling that you're kind of like an imposter because, you know, I think this is a great opportunity to just like show people that you know you know yourself, or even if you don't, you know, like they say, fake it till you make it, you know. And someone just asked me the other day, how come you're so confident? And I'm just like, I don't want to say the word that I said, but I pretty much just said because I don't give care too much. I don't care too much. That's why. So don't overthink, right? Okay. Any thoughts on imposter syndrome or confidence from anyone else?
I would say like if you're at the table, you belong at the table. You got there because you belong there and you deserve to be there. So like it's honestly like really not like don't let yourself believe that once you're at the table you didn't deserve it, but everybody else who somehow made it there did. And also exactly what you said. Everybody's faking it till they make it. Just do the same. Honestly, and it's like so fine to still be learning. It's fine if you don't know everything that you're supposed to at like to do your job. At an entry level, that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be learning, you're supposed to be getting better step by step. And I think it's really important at that stage to not be so harsh on yourself for the things that you don't know or don't do perfectly. Like it can be really tempting to only want to do things to this perfect level, but it's not an assignment. It's like the real world. And it's totally okay to like lean on your supervisor, your manager, your colleagues at your new job, ask questions, and like get better slowly and really celebrate your wins. Don't minimize things that you know you already are doing well on paper, like you've already demonstrated that you're doing well right here or before you came here, but also on the job. Like don't be like, oh yeah, but everyone can do this. Like take a moment to celebrate your wins, and then just work on anything else that needs to be worked on slowly. That's what everyone else does, and don't convince yourself you're the only one.
To bounce off that, like also like document your wins. Like if someone sends you an email and they're like, you did a great job and there's a thread, put it in a folder like in your emails because you'll forget. And also sometimes they'll forget. And so being able to just have that on hand so you can always reference whenever you need it, whether it be like on a one-on-one meeting or if you're just having a bad day.
Or that yearly review.
Yeah, or
Right,
the yearly
yes.
review. Yeah,
Keep the
you'll need
receipts.
it.
Keep the receipts.
Yeah.
All right, I want to give time for everybody to ask questions. So let's do a really big lightning round. And these will be questions for everybody, for all the time. So, okay, any resume and interview strategies?
Yes. Concision, be concise. How many words you fit in doesn't, at least in our industry, as communicators, it's very important to be concise. I thought about this. What's the most practical advice that we could give you? We chatted a little bit about this before this. When you apply to something, my advice is, at least in a corporate, who wants to like work in a corporate setting or in an office? Okay, great. So when you apply, my advice is have everything submitted, have all of your documents in, close all loose ends with that. Then you reach out to HR on LinkedIn. You can usually find them under the people section of the page. You don't reach out before you've applied because they can't help you much. But if you say, I've already applied, I'm interested, that could spark something. And don't be, this is usually not the case. Don't be bombarding them, but then call the office that you want to work at and just talk to a receptionist. Just leave your name and work. This happened at mine. The receptionist at my office gave my name to HR, who then looked through his LinkedIn messages. So it's all interconnected, but going that extra mile, I think, does help you stand out. Those are my practical tips for paper.
Honestly, excellent advice. I would say when you're preparing for an interview, prepare all that you can, like all the anticipated questions, really know how to tell your story, really know the company, if possible, really know the person who's going to be interviewing you. Like you may not have gotten an email saying that this and this person is going to be there, but you might get a calendar invite and you have a name. So make sure you're looking up who that person is. Like know that, look up their LinkedIn, it's all publicly available. Like know who you're speaking to, what kind of work they're doing, and be as prepared as possible. But then take some time before the interview to like not be so panicked and not be so like high up there with your anxiety. And remember that you're trying to connect with this person and be present and have that conversation and be yourself. Like you don't want to be this really high strung version of yourself. Like you want them to know you because like hopefully it's a really good fit. You're able to demonstrate why you really want this job. You're a great fit for this job. you'll be a great asset to their team, and then have that like conversation. It's like then it's a conversation. You've already done all your homework, and then you can just put that all away in the moment.
Just bouncing on that really quickly, the interviews that worked for me are the interviews where the interviewer felt like I was interviewing them also. They're not just interviewing me. And when you have that mindset in mind, it will show that you're not too desperate for the job. You know, it's like you're dating, like you're not chasing them. When they when they realize that they will chase after you. So have that mindset in mind. You're not just being interviewed, you're also interviewing them.
Yeah, and also if you are desperate, the best way is to just find unconventional strategies to pitch yourself. Like for me, if I had a job that I really loved, first interview I would go into with a PowerPoint. And I would be like, hey, I actually just created something that I really wanted to show you. Can I share my screen? And then it would be a PowerPoint about me with photos of me and my hobbies, things that I love, why I love the company, why I want to be a part of it. And then a case study at the end of just like a hypothetical situation that would come up in this job that I'm applying for and how I would solve this problem. And it just is something that will really stick with them and be like, just they'll remember you very well and just be like, oh, that's the girl with the PowerPoint in my first interview. Don't do it all the time, but if you're desperate, it's a good strategy.
Similar to what Dalton said, I had gotten an interview with someone at Roku because I messaged them after one of these like panels. It was actually in this room. I had met, I forget his Michael. I had met Michael and I messaged him. I was like, I applied to the job. Can you help me out? Essentially that. And he was like, totally. So he sent me a reference and then I eventually got an interview. I didn't get the job, but at least it was very good practice. So at least like at the very least, like don't take those loses and just like pocket them, internalize them. Just think about it as like practice. It's everything is practice.
Right.
Reaching out to people, doing those interviews, even if you don't get the job, it's practice. And similar to Darlene, I actually did also do a presentation one time. I had found an error on their website and I was like, oh my gosh, how do I bring this up in a way that's not disrespectful? So I was like, I made this presentation, I really like the company. I noticed something on your website though, and then I added a little picture of like what was wrong. They're like, oh my gosh, that's really embarrassing. I was like, I mean, I think I just do this because I was like studying it so hard, and I don't think anyone else noticed. And so it's little things like that I think like really set you apart. But yeah, I'm not the best interviewer, honestly. I think you just have to go into it like being yourself and kind of having a routine. For me, like I before every interview would like put on sound bath or meditate for like 5 minutes. I would practice the interview for the 30 minutes before, and then I would leave 5 minminutes right before and be like, okay, I just need to like breathe. And that really like helps with the nerves.
Okay. I want to echo what Quynline said. Treat every interview opportunity as a chance of practice, because in that way you won't feel as stressed as you were treating this as like a final stretch. You know what I mean? So don't be over stressed about it. It's just an interview. And the second thing that I want to emphasize is to know deeply well about yourself. What has brought you here to this moment, and to have a chance to present yourself to a company that you want to work for. So for me, I studied data analytics in my undergrad, and then I did my grad in media, which is marketing. So I had a lot of connecting dot moments where I had the entire roadmap where at why I made this decision and why I choose to take this internship over that one, and then eventually ended up being here. So I think taking through your journey with your interviewer will give them perspective on how you are here and then why you're passionate about what you're doing. And second point is that it shows them that you are not only applying blindly, because a lot of people, when I got the invitation from LinkedIn, they seem clueless, like they apply every job that they can find on LinkedIn. But having that own your own story can give you a perspective on what you really want to combine your past experiences with the current job that you're interviewing for.
So just piggyback on that, because I was talking to an HR person about interviewing, and she said, a lot of candidates who I interview just ramble on things, like they mention the tiny detail of their job experience. But the best interviewees that she's had are the ones who are good in PR and good in marketing. And that means PR, they know what are the key messages of their work, right? Like their body of work. They know what to highlight. They know what to make the interviewer remember, right? You have to reiterate like those things that makes you remember. And then also, which is for marketing, what's your selling point? You have to reiterate until the end of the interview, because the interviewer will remember, oh, this is the person that did 75 campaigns. That they will remember that, as opposed to you just saying like I've done this. They hear that all the time with their interviews. Like they wouldn't even remember what you said. So selling point and key messages. Okay, so we have 5 minutes left. I'm going to open the floor for one. Go ahead.
Is there something you wish you did while you were at SPS that you're like, oh, I wish I could do that or do more of, or like talk to a certain person, or like, is there anything specific?
I wish I actually had built even more close connections with other professors. I have 3 people that I consider to be mentors to me that I professionally still ask advice about. But that number could have grown even more. There's no limit to the close relationships that you have. I would say that, and I would also say maybe even doing more club activities too. We had a very social, Rennie remembers this, Dr. Rennie, excuse me. We had a very social grade or a social class for some reason, so it was very odd. That wasn't as much of an issue, but just meeting people, I think you can never do too much,
Agreed. I was able to do it like last minute, but definitely look into like GFIs within SPS. They're just so fun and expose you to just the other sectors of SPS. Like I didn't take one for integrated marketing, but I took one for the hospitality group, and I ended up making like some of my best friends there and just some really great connections that were also within the marketing field as well.
Okay.
So most like graduate students, a lot of my own friends have done this, but while their job application strategy is playing the numbers game and like blindly applying to like 100 jobs or even more, and it actually worked for one of my friends, but I still cannot fathom the fact that you would actually blindly apply to 100 to 200 jobs and then just like sit and like try your luck. So has that worked for any of you guys? By any chance, have you heard about like?
Well, okay, I gotta be honest. I asked ChatGPT this. ChatGPT told me for every 20 jobs, you get 20 applications, you get 1 interview. For every 5 interviews, you get a job. So that means you need to apply for 100 jobs. Right? But yeah, you want to say something?
No, I think it is a numbers game, especially for international students, because we are automatically blocked out if we select yes to sponsoring. But I mean, there are still opportunities. Like those numbers to me are pretty high already. Like I would say times 10 for international students. You need to at least apply 1,000 jobs. Like online. Like I did when I was started to job hunt, I set myself a goal with like 30 or 40 per day. Like I lasted for like 3 months. So that's
And that works out well for you.
yeah, I only had one.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add one caveat to that. Don't do it blindly.
Yeah.
Like even with not doing it blindly, there may be a really big volume of jobs you're applying to. But to Ye's point, like if you're an international student in this room and you're in that form, you're doing the first application, you're not even talking to a person yet, and you get to a question asking about sponsorship. Most of the time, that means that that opportunity is kind of like already shut, like that door is closed. So I wouldn't even count those as like a real application. Like in my head, like I put it out there, but like I'm not expecting a response from that application. So like if you're counting those, then yes, it's a large volume. But if you're talking about more real opportunities where you're like actually having like an email interaction with someone or a LinkedIn message or a call with HR, it'll be a smaller number for sure.
Easy.
And I would say be intentional. That's my just personal advice. Everything they're saying is so true too. It is a component of it is a numbers game. But I will tell you, the job that I ended up getting was the first application where I had told my friends this months before I got this offer. This is the first one I've been very intentional about, where I researched, I knew the clients, I knew the HR people's names, I knew the team. You go that extra mile. There were many instances where that didn't happen with me, but I would just say that select 10 companies that are your true number ones and then fight for them. The worst that happens is you don't get it.
Right. Okay, one last question. Go ahead.
What's your core strength that you finally come to embrace with experience?
It's a great question.
I think for me, it was just like playing into my silliness and like my personality, because that's what set me apart when it came to the job that I have now. Because it actually was between me and a coworker of mine, and we both I think we were both fit for the role, and I happened to get the role because I really put myself out there, and I was like, I want to join this team, and they're like, what sets you apart? And I was like, honestly, I'm kind of funny. And I think that's what like everyone laughed, and I was like, okay, so like this is working well. And then I got onto the team, and it actually was pretty important that I was very personable, because the whole team was very personable. They're all very fun, and especially in marketing, I feel like you get to be fun. So like, yeah, be who you are, essentially.
All right.
I would also say to preparation. Preparation is a skill that will never do anything
Sure.
but help you.
Especially, and this is based on experience, especially for the jobs that you get interviewed for and that you really, really love. Like prepare at least a week in advance. Okay, let's give our panelists a round of applause. Takeaways, winners are not a sprint, it's a marathon. So take whatever you gathered today and use it for your advantage, and keep building your career playbook.
And connect
Thank
with
you.
us.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Thanks,
Thank you.
no, this is to everybody, I say this to students, and I said it at orientation, because I got to sit on stage, and I said to them, first of all, I had no idea about this imposter syndrome, especially hearing you amazing people say that. Do you know where you are? Do you know how hard it was to get in here? Do you know how carefully we picked you all and you all? Do you know what kind of brand you are going to wear on your resume? Now, having said that, that's a degree. You need to dare people not to hire you. Dare them. Participate. Do what these people did. Dive in. Network. Use the opportunities that you have. Make those connections. Remember, your network is your net worth, and that will continue throughout your whole life, right? So as you're planning your next 3 moves, plan, I need this to network, I need to know these people, I need to go here. So you're not flying blind, people. That's what you have Wasserman, you have the alumni, you have these alumni, you have your faculty, you have the clubs. So we're serving all this stuff up, dive in, and then you can too dare people not to hire. I don't care where you're from. the best people get hired. So embrace the next 1 year, the next 2 years, and embrace the opportunities that you have. And hopefully we'll see you at more of these department clubs and all the curated events that the clubs do. Clubs, you're always kicking it. And I hope you people who were in clubs see what this year, what they're doing, and those amazing things that they're carrying the torch very well. They're making you proud, I know.